Now, I know most of you come here for social commentary, mostly on the nerddom, but I do think one of the things I do well is distilling down a lot of craziness. And with the midterm elections upon us and the next presidential election cycle just about to kick off, I feel like I need to spend some time here and there boning up on some political coverage to help people understand maybe what we're looking at. And it's already kind of begun with the New York Times breaking today that Facebook has identified an ongoing political influence campaign. Now, the hilarious thing is, uh, of course, there are political influence campaigns on Facebook. And before I go into it, look, here's what I can say. If you're seeing an article promoted on Facebook, you have to take that with a huge grain of salt. Think twice about sharing it, and know that Facebook is an arm that all political entities use to spin their narrative. I don't buy this crazy Russian bot narrative thing. I think strongly their influence is greatly overrepresented. It's used as a talking point by people on the far left. The terminology Russian bots, Russians, alt-right, these are all things that the far left use to use as buzzwords to get attention, and then they crowbar in some sort of ideology. Today we saw big news with Facebook basically coming to their own conclusion about an investigation of political influencers that aren't necessarily attached to that exact party, from how I understand it. So basically, non-democratic people running Democratic ads, or non-Republicans running Republican ads, or you can insert whatever party you wish. More Russians specifically. But the interesting part is, we've been hearing from Democrats for a long time about fake news and all this stuff about the Russians, and well, actually Republicans talking about fake news too, obviously. It's all fake in my opinion. But it's interesting that what they revealed were actually far left causes that were exposed as fakes. And not every article gives you everything, but in the Times we talk about, Facebook announced today that it had identified a coordinated political influence campaign with dozens of inauthentic accounts and pages that they were believed to be engaging in political activity around divisive social issues ahead of November's midterm elections. They had deleted and removed 32 pages of accounts, and said the accounts, 8 Facebook pages, 17 Facebook profiles, 7 Instagram accounts, were created between March 2017 and May 2018, first discovered 2 weeks ago. More than 290,000 accounts followed at least one of the suspect pages. So that's the reach, right? 290,000 accounts. We can assume more than half of these are probably fake. So it's not a small amount of people, but it's also not gigantic either, because let's be honest, Facebook is circling the drain. Nobody trusts it. The only people pumping money into ads, which is how Facebook makes money, are political companies and remarketing campaigns for the most part. Between April 2017 and June 2019, accounts ran 150 ads costing $11,000. That's nothing. This is a huge deal. They're making such a huge deal of it. $11,000 in ad spend. I have more than one client that spend that every day on Facebook, just to put it in perspective. This is not millions of Russian dollars funneling in and influencing elections. This is a very small operation. They were paid for in American and Canadian dollars, and the pages created roughly 30 events over a similar time period, in the largest of which attracted an interest from 4,700 accounts. Nathan Gleicher, Facebook's head of cybersecurity policy, said that the activity bore some similarities to the Internet Research Agency, but the actors had better disguised their efforts using VPNs, internet phone services, and third parties to purchase ads for them. He said the company had yet to see any evidence connecting the accounts to Russian IP addresses. Okay, of course, more Russians. It's so funny how obsessed the media is with this Russian narrative. Like, who cares? Russia, let me tell you something. Russia is not somebody you need to be afraid of. They have huge problems of their own. They aren't influencing our election in any meaningful way. And if they are trying to spend money on our election and not fixing their own crumbling economy, that would be very surprising to me. These bad actors have been more careful to cover their tracks. Now, we don't know if they're necessarily bad actors, right? Just because they were purchasing ads in a cloaked way doesn't necessarily mean they were up to anything. The company has been working with the FBI to investigate the activity, like the Russian interference campaign in 2016 that recently detected campaign dealt with divisive social issues. Now, you might say, well, this must be all those people looking to help Trump, right? Facebook discovered a coordinated activity around issues like a sequel to last year's deadly Unite the Right white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, specifically pages with a page called Resistors, which interacted with one internet research agency in 2017, created an event called No Unite the Right 2 to serve as a counter-protest to the white nationalist gathering and to take place in Washington. Mr. Gleicher said the inauthentic administrators for the Resistors page went so far as to coordinate with administrators for 5 other apparently real pages to co-host the event, publicizing details about transportation and other logistics. Mr. Gleicher said it disabled the event on Tuesday and notified the 2,600 users that the site had indicated were attending the event. Other things that they found spent money on was the Abolish ICE hashtag. So mostly, again, more left-leaning politics. It has removed a network of suspected Russian-linked accounts. Again, CNN gets it wrong. At least according to the New York Times, there's no indication that there was anything linked with Russia. But of course, on CNN, you must put Russia in every single article because you've set that standard with your followers and your fans. The network's most extensive effort to interfere in American politics that Facebook has found and made public ahead of November's midterm elections. Again, we know that this is not a large amount of people. In briefings on Capitol Hill, Facebook told lawmakers it suspects a Russian group is behind more than 30 pages. Interesting. He said the company had yet to see any evidence accounts to Russian. Now, this is the New York Times. This is the CNN. So I'm going to take the Times in this one in a close battle. But it's funny how, they can just basically lie. One page promoted No Unite the Right, a counter-demonstration to unite the right, abolish ICE, a message pushed by liberals, a source said. Publicly, Facebook is saying it does not know for sure who was behind the network. Interesting. But is saying it has found evidence of some connection between these accounts and companies that had been run. So again, no evidence, and we include the word Russia or Russian in this article, 20, 30 times. He cautioned, there are differences too. For example, while IP addresses are easy to spoof, the IRA accounts were disabled last year, sometimes use Russian IP addresses. We haven't seen those here. Now remember, when you use a VPN, you can pick wherever you want to have your IP address coming from. So this is selective reporting, right? In 2018, so many people are running VPNs, specifically if you're up to nefarious political stuff. It's very easy to spoof where you are. And if I were, let's say, working for a conservative cause, I might just set my IP address to Russia just for funsies to watch CNN report on this. Now, the Facebook pages removed were about 300,000 followers. Most pages were Aztlan Warriors, Black Elevation, Mindful Being, and Resistors. The company said they ran pages for 150 ads, totaling 11,000 again. Relatively very small amount of ad spend, small amount of people, if we believe they're even real. And certainly some of them probably are, but certainly big business in getting fake Facebook followers. Back in the gray hat marketing era, when I would do marketing, say for like YouTube, you could buy subscribers for like $5 off Fiverr. You could get a couple thousand. You spend $100, you have 10,000 subscribers. People see more subscribers, they're more likely to subscribe. This is probably not dissimilar to what they're doing on Facebook. They want to buy 100,000 followers, so the next 100,000 sees, whoa, there's already 100,000. There's a marketing term called the fear of missing out that we use, and this is probably what drives them. You get 100,000 fakes, that means the next 100,000 likes will be that much easier to get because people will take notice. They won't want to miss out. They'll want to be a part of something. But if anything, let me caution you going forward in any news piece, and even when watching my videos, that if it's an issue you want to take seriously and you want to understand, you're going to have to absorb multiple sources. We saw both CNN and New York Times have conflicting reports and have ideological spin. Now, there are some facts that are the same. The ad spend, these are things that are easy for us to check. But the editorialization of facts is what wins or loses the people's good favor, the public opinion. And so you always have to be careful about that. Know where you're reading your source and know the kind of spin that they're going to have. I read CNN all the time because I know the slant they're going to put on it. And then I'll go read something on Fox if it's an important issue to me. I can't follow as many issues as I used to because it takes so much damn time to sort through all the editorials of it. And so I want to get better at distilling this information to help people. And this is a skill you can use in not just political, but in anything. And Facebook, just don't trust Facebook at all. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.